I hope that you brought your oven mitts for this video because it is sizzly hot. We are talking options and other opportunities in the market and a whole lot more. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and if you need to put a spaceship to sleep, you just rock it. So what exactly makes this video so sizzly hot? Well, the very first thing is options. A play that has already happened, a play that I'm currently in that has possibly even more opportunity tomorrow than it did today, and then two other stocks that I think are just going to move for us and possibly return to us over the short term, over the near term. In this video, I'll also be showing the Moo app, and I could tell you how to get up to 16 free stocks, which that offer expires today, and then also how you can get access to my buys and sells and my options education through the Patreon. There is a whole lot there, and we better just get right down to it. So let's talk about that first options play. What we're looking at here is CrowdStrike, ticker symbol CRWD, and I was talking about this earlier in the month with my Patreon members through the private Discord, and I said that for earnings, that this one would be an excellent one to either put on a long strangle or a long straddle, depending on whatever it is that you want to do, where you buy a call option, you buy a put option, and all you're looking for is for this thing to move big in either direction, and man, oh man, it did. So we moved up today 9% from the previous close. So depending on where you bought it, I was talking about this at around 145, and I said I had a bullish bias on this. So you could even just go with straight up call options. For example, if you were also bullish on this, if that's what your research told you, and I wrote down some of the numbers here for how that would have printed. So I was talking about doing these September 1st calls on this one, and if you did a 145, which is the price that I was talking about when I started talking about it, 145, the 9-1 calls yesterday, which would have been the day that I would have bought it prior to their earnings being released, $815 to get into the call. And I know that that could sound like a lot of money. And the straddle that I was talking about, possibly doing, that one would have cost $1,200 to get into that one yesterday. So $815 to get in, we'll call it $800 to get in for the call, $1,200 to get into the long straddle position. And how would that have paid off today? Listen to this. The premium off that call side option, we don't need to talk about the put because that ended up being pretty much worthless in the straddle anyway. So the call option premium today went up to $1,745. So that $800, which sounded like a lot of money because it is sort of a lot of money, that over 2x'd today through those options. So if you were somebody to hang on and catch both of those things at the top, then you really super capitalized on that. So 2xing just from the day prior to the next day, and that's hard to get. So if you did with the long straddle, you made $500, almost $550. So you're closing in like 40 to 50% gain from doing the straddle, not even knowing the direction that it was going to go. So that's talking about how we can use options to amplify the returns that we see in our portfolios. The risk there, if we did the long straddle, is that this thing didn't move enough, and then it eats away at the premium on both sides of that. And then also the risk that we would have for the call option, if we went down instead of up, then we would have been out pretty much $800 for that one. Options do have significant risk, but that is exactly why I'm building that options course over at the Patreon so that people are educated not only about options themselves, but also the risks that go along with it so that they can make the best financial decisions possible as they're looking at the different market conditions that there are and the different movements that could happen and how to capitalize on them the best, whether it's buying the stock outright or the options. Let's get on to the other plays that I have for you because like I said, there's a lot to talk about in this video. So the next one is ticker symbol PLL. So this is Piedmont Lithium. And no, I don't know this company myself. This is a purely technical play when we look at it. So what I was looking at more recently is the big drop they had and going oversold on the RSI, which you might not. Let me shift this over. You can see it better on your screen. So right here went down to oversold. And anytime it went oversold in the past, so back here, which was back in the end of December where we went oversold, look at that rip that we had. We went from about $40 per share up to about $70 per share. That is incredible. That's a 75% gain from that one. If we go back to the last time that we were in the oversold territory, we bottomed out from there at about $32 per share and then went up to $68 per share. So over 2xing, over 100% from bottom to top on that thing. If you managed to catch the bottom of it and get to the top, even if you didn't, even if you waited for a little bit more confirmation on this thing, like possibly until the RSI went bullish, went up over 50, you still were sitting at about $37 per share. And even when you looked at this and waited for it to go oversold, and maybe you sold as soon as you saw it go oversold, that would be about here, and that close on that day was $66. So that's still $29 on top of it. That's still like a 60-ish% gain. So if we go back, here's another oversold period, and we have a steep recovery. And then going back here a little bit further, it's a little bit oversold. There's a better example back here where we touched oversold, bottomed out a little bit more, and then finally ripped up off of that one. So depending on where you place your stops and all that kind of stuff. So for this one, because it does react so violently from going oversold, then this is one that I think is a significant opportunity, because just recently we went oversold. We crossed back up over 30, which puts us back into just bearish, but not necessarily oversold. Dipped back down into oversold territory. And where's it going to go from here? Well, while I don't know exactly what's going to happen, if we wait for that confirmation across that 50 line on the RSI, so an RSI of 50 or better, which could happen really at any point in time. If it is going to happen, we have significant upside that could possibly follow for Piedmont Lithium. So from here, I actually wrote down these prices. So if you enter, and this is not financial advice, this is just an idea that I'm putting out there. So if I were to enter above $45, I could be out by $50, and then I have other prices written down here as well. So enter at 45, exit at 50. That is over a 10% gain. As a matter of fact, it's over an 11% gain from 45 to 50, and then the stop on here being at 42.50. So that's a 2-to-1 risk to reward that we would have on that. So that's Piedmont Lithium, ticker symbol PLL. Moving on there to AAPL. There we go. On over to Apple, and Apple back into bullish territory on the RSI, back above the 50-day, and then we got this little doji candle happening here. Is a little bit biased to the downside where the bears overtook the bulls just a little bit on this one, but not significantly. It is above the 50-day, so that means we have the 50-day as support. The Apple event is coming up. I don't know if they announced the official date, September 12th, September 13th. We'll see how the market holds out until then, but that could be something that we rally up to, getting close to that Apple event. And if we do rally, then it is possible that we also sell off by the time the Apple event does hit, unless they put out some amazingly astounding announcement that we didn't expect, in which case that could cause a little bit of euphoria happening here in the stock. So for Apple, we could possibly go up to 190. If we get extra exuberant over this, we could possibly run up to 200. The closer we get to 200, the more convinced I am that we sell off when that Apple event hits in the middle of September. Now, real quick, before I get to the last stock, I'm going to tell you about those free stocks from Moomoo. Find that link down in the description for Moomoo. Sign up, make your deposit, get up to 16 free stocks. You have a $50 cash reward at every tier, 5 free stocks for a $100 deposit, 15 free stocks for $1,000 and $5,000, a free share of Tesla or Google at the $5,000 deposit level. This offer does expire today, so make sure that you take advantage of it very, very soon. Finish watching this video, click that link and do that sign up, and over at the Patreon where I put my buy and sell alerts, over at my private Discord, and then I also have my options course that I just put into a new feature called a collection through the Patreon. You can also get access to that as well, and I'm building it out, very excited about it, and just can't wait to share more of it with you. All right, so now for that last options play that I have for you, and this is one that I'm currently in. I will tell you exactly what I did, and I will tell you what I'm thinking about doing leading up closer to their earnings date. So let me pop this up here for you. Now, this last stock is ticker symbol AI. So it's C3AI, and so for those of you who are excited about it, let me tell you what I like about this. So first of all, you can see that this stock has a lot of volatility that goes with it, and if you look down at the bottom of your screen, down here is tracking that volatility, and what you can see is that we've actually kind of bottomed out in terms of their volatility for this stock. So bottoming out in volatility is a good thing, because for options, it means that when you buy them, the premium's cheaper. You want to be a seller of those options when that volatility happens to spike. And I don't know about you, but I see these prices narrowing right here, which means we can even show that with the Bollinger Bands, for example. The fact that they're narrowing, we are nearing some sort of big movement. All it takes is some catalyst in order for that to happen, and their earnings are coming up after the market closes on September the 6th. So you want to mark that on your calendars. It is Wednesday. So what I did on this one, what I did for this one so far is I put a long strangle on this one, where for, let me see what I marked down here, for September the 8th is the expiration date. So that means that there's only 2 days to expiration by the time that the earnings are announced. And then by the time I get a chance to close my position on that, there's only going to be 1 day left to expiration. That should be very good for seeing some pretty outsized returns should this thing move as violently as I expect it to. So I bought a $31 strike put, a $32 strike call, and that is the long strangle that I have on that one. What I'm thinking about doing, and I need to do a little bit more research to see if I can figure out a stronger bias on this. Right now I'm leaning towards the bullish side of things, and if my research leads me to the point where I'm actually very fully bullish on this one, I will buy more call options, and then that should be something that could return to me in a very, very good way, because we saw that with CrowdStrike, that if we did just the calls, that can return very healthily. But remember that you don't get all those gains without also having the risk that goes along with it. So I am currently in a long strangle already. Expiration September 8th, earnings are September the 6th, and so on September the 7th, I will be out of this play. If I increase my position at all, it will likely be because I chose a bias, whether it's buying more calls or buying more puts, and that would assume that the volatility is still relatively subdued leading up to that time. So we'll watch that. We'll see what happens with it, and I will let you know if I make any further moves on that and with that one. And like I said, I have shared it over at the Patreon. You can find that link down in the description. Go over, sign up for the Discord, talk to me and my other community members. We'd love to have you over there. If you don't know about options, I am building that options course from the very novice level up through the advanced strategies so that you can also learn to amplify your portfolios by capitalizing on those options. Don't forget about your free stocks from Moomoo. That link is down in the description. If you found this video sizzly hot, let me know down in the comments of this video that you liked it and what else you would like to see about this. And like I said, if you do have questions, go ahead, ask away. Thank you guys for watching this video. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.